Today, I'm pleased to welcome to the program Ryan Rotundo, the Manager of Employment Programs with the National Down Syndrome Society, or NDSS. Ryan, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff. I'm excited.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Where do we find you these days?
So I'm actually located outside of the beautiful mountains of Western North Carolina, but our office with NDSS is headquartered in Washington, D.C.
All right. Yeah, I'm in frigid Columbus, Ohio. Winter hit quickly this year. So
Yeah.
we're recording this in the middle of October, and it should be nice, but it's not, but that's okay. You're lucky. You're probably having good weather down there.
We'll roll with it. Yeah.
We'll roll with it. Um, Tell us a little bit about NDSS and what we're doing together with ISSA.
Yeah. So just a really great connection. Some of our colleagues met at a conference, and this just turned into something very, very special. And I think this is a really great launching off point for both of our organizations to partner together. But the National Down Syndrome Society is the leading human rights organization for all individuals with Down syndrome. It started in the late 1970s and was previously headquartered in New York City, but just recently moved our offices to the Washington, D.C. area. We do a lot of work in the public policy space to really impact the lives of those with Down syndrome and their families. And so that's kind of what we do. And then we kind of are the avenues for that are through our programs. We have a program that focuses on health and wellness of individuals with Down syndrome across the lifespan. We also have an education program that really focuses on serving those with Down syndrome in the school setting. Obviously, there's some federal laws that support people with Down syndrome, IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So we really kind of help families navigate the ins and outs of that legislation, as well as provide support to education service providers. And then within my specialty area of employment, we really help create more inroads to employment for individuals with Down syndrome all across the country. One of the ways that we do that is through partnership with tremendous organizations like ISSA. So really pleased to be having this conversation around the cleaning industry and really ways that we can continue to grow sort of these opportunities for people with Down syndrome and other disabilities as well.
Yeah. Must feel good to do this type of work.
I feel pretty good each and
Yeah.
every day being able to contribute in this way to society. I'll mention I have an older sister with Down syndrome, so
It's
I fully
personal.
believe this is not only the personal mission, but it's the one that I was kind of slated for
Mm.
from a very young age. So happy to get to do it, very full circle. And I'll share that I do a lot of this in real time, helping my sister navigate employment and some other pieces of just having a high quality of life. So it's good work.
Yeah, well, thank you for what we've created here and NDSS and ISSA. We value helping people as well, but what a fantastic mission you have, and we're happy to help with that. Let's talk
Yeah.
about a webinar coming up. I know that's a focus you have right now to bring some awareness to the industry. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So one of the ways that the employment program, I myself get to work with organizations is by providing just some insight, right, into what the Down syndrome community is all about. So we kind of, jokingly refer to some of what we get to teach and share as Down syndrome 101, a little bit of what is Down syndrome, how it might impact an individual's life, across the lifespan, but really looking at sort of that age where employment starts to become more of an option or reality for those individuals. So we're meeting with companies. We're going to be doing this great webinar with ISSA around how to make the workplace more accessible, and not just in terms of workplace accommodations, but really thinking of that concept of belonging and how do we really help individuals with disabilities, specifically those with Down syndrome, feel as though they're welcomed as employees in the different cleaning industry roles. We also want to look at ways to empower the employer through technical support. We have a lot of resources available on our website through the employment program that would help employers navigate sort of the nuances of hiring somebody with Down syndrome, maybe looking at how to break up tasks in different ways, how to really create systems of support with maybe a peer mentor in certain hiring situations. So really helping ISSA and the membership look at different ways to be a more inclusive minded group.
Sounds like an important topic to consider. Webinar is scheduled for November 17th at 2 p.m. and Eastern Time. We'll put that registration link down below for folks to click and register and get their spot. So, Ryan, as we wrap up this segment, is there anything else to add? Any other takeaways people will get from the webinar?
Yeah, so really the highlight of this is October. We celebrate National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and we also celebrate Down Syndrome Awareness Month. So I like to say that the Down syndrome community kind of gets the elevated pedestal there in terms of getting to share our mission and what we're all about. But I will say too that don't come to this webinar to hear from me. I can gab all day. We're going to have some incredible self advocates, two young ladies who work at the National Down Syndrome Society. So our organization is all about walking the talk. We have about 20% of our staff who identify as having a disability. These two individuals do have Down syndrome, and Jeff, I tell you, these ladies are impressive. They are the first and the third registered lobbyists with Down syndrome. One has federal legislation named after her because of her work in organ transplant equity. They've both testified before the United States Congress and state legislators around wage equity, organ transplant equity, marriage equity, all of these things for people with Down syndrome and other disabilities. So again, I think you're going to be in a good seat for this webinar if you can make it.
Sounds fantastic. And the people on the webinar you mentioned adds a lot of value, makes it real, and the industry should really benefit from it. Thank you, Ryan, for this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Jeff.